We get it. We know what this administration is. We know what this administration does. We see the executive orders. We feel the prices. We watch the raids. We live the consequences of every policy that gets signed, every agency that gets gutted, every protection that gets quietly stripped away while the news cycle moves on to the next outrage. We know. So please, stop. Just stop. Stop pointing across the aisle like we can't see what's over there ourselves. Stop telling us how bad he's made our lives. We don't need the reminder. We're living it every single day, without a break, without a press conference to go home to afterwards. The question we have, the question that nobody in your leadership seems willing to answer, is very simple. What are you going to do? Not what did they do, not what did he sign, not what did they take. What are you going to do? Because right now, listening to Democratic leadership talk about this administration is starting to sound like that person who lost their job and spends every conversation telling you about the company that let them go, but never once mentions what skills they're building, what doors they're knocking on, what plan they're working. Just a great grievance. Rinse and repeat, loud and proud, and going absolutely nowhere. They are good at grievance. That's their lane. You need to be better. You were supposed to be better. That was the whole point. Chuck Schumer, Senator from New York, Senate Minority Leader, 30 years in the United States Senate, 30 years. And when this moment, this specific critical history-making moment called for a leader to stand up and draw a line, what do we get? The same press conference voice, the same furrowed brow, the same carefully constructed sentences designed to sound like urgency while committing to do nothing that costs anything. Chuck, you've been in all that building since 1999 as a senator alone. You have watched this country change. You have watched your party change and been part of that. You have watched the communities that vote for you change, and yet the playbook hasn't. Here's what we know about your donors, Chuck. The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, has been one of the most consistent financial relationships in your political career, and your positions have been remarkably consistent with their interests. No conditions on military aid, no real pressure on policy, no meaningful pushback when black and brown progressive members of your own party were being systematically removed from office with outside money. You didn't have much to say about that, did you? When AIPAC spent $14 million to remove Jamal Bowman from Congress, a black congressman from New York, that's your state, Chuck. The silence from your office was deafening. When they spent $8.5 million to take out Cori Bush, a black woman, a nurse, a voice for working people in Missouri, Democratic leadership offered her a press release and a prayer. And when 22 Democrats crossed the aisle to censure Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American in Congress, almost every single one of them had AIPAC money in their campaign accounts. The FEC filings are public, Chuck. Anyone can read them. You want to talk about threats to democracy? Start in the mirror. And Hakeem. Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader. Brooklyn-born, Howard University educated. The man Democratic caucus members chose to lead them into this movement. Hakeem, in November of 2023, 1 month while Gaza was burning and your constituents were watching in horror, AIPAC deposited over $200,000 into your campaign account. That is documented. Federal Election Commission, FEC, public record. And your public position on the $4 billion in annual military aid the United States sends to Israel? No conditions. No accountability measures. Nope. Just a check, delivered on time. Now, let me be clear about something. This is not about Jewish people. Please, say it with me. This is not about Jewish people. This is about a foreign policy lobbying organization that spent $100 million in the 2024 election cycle to shape who sits in Congress and what they say when they get there. $100 million in 389 congressional races. And the communities bearing the cost of that influence are not in Tel Aviv. They are in the Bronx. They are in St. Louis. They are in Detroit. They're in South Los Angeles. They are the same communities that show up every 2 years and pull the lever for Democrats because the alternative is worse. And we know it. Here is the question, Hakeem. When those communities needed you to stand up, not with a statement, not with a carefully worded tweet, but with actual legislative courage, where were you? Where are you? Because what we see is a man who talks about equity on Monday and cashes a check from an organization that just spent $8 million removing a black woman from Congress on Tuesday. You can't have both. Pick a side. Now I want to talk to you. Not them, you. The people who show up. The people who phone bank and door knock and argue with relatives at Thanksgiving and drag people to the polls who don't want to go. The people who have been loyal to this party through welfare reform, the crime bill, and the endless wars and bailouts and the moments when the party looked you in the eye and chose someone else's interests over yours, and then came back around asking you for your vote like nothing happened. I see you, and I need to say something directly. Loyalty without accountability is not loyalty. It's a habit, and habits can be broken, or they can be redirected. That does not mean stay home. Staying home is not a protest. It's a gift to the people trying to bury you. What it means is this: demand better before you deliver your vote. Not after, before. Ask your representatives specifically, not generally, specifically what they have done for your community with the power they already have. Ask them who their top donors are. Ask them why their positions align so consistently with those donors' interests. Ask them what they gave up to get that money and what you lost when they did. If they give you the canned response, the talking points, the blame redirect, the when we get more seats promise, you look them in the eye and you tell them that answer isn't good enough anymore. Because here's the truth. The Democratic Party does not have a messaging problem. They have an accountability problem. You cannot message your way out of decades of telling black and brown and working class communities that their issues are important while consistently deprioritizing those issues the moment real money shows up on the other side. Words are cheap. Votes are expensive. Start pricing yours accordingly. We know what this administration is, and we know what's at stake. And we are not confused about the danger on the other side of the aisle. But danger on one side does not excuse failure on the other. And a party that has made a profession out of pointing at the fire while quietly accepting donations from people selling the matches has no right to be surprised when the people they claim to represent start asking hard questions. So here's the demand, not the request, the demand. Show us the plan. A real one, with specifics and timelines and something that costs you something to say. Show us the votes that reflect the communities that fund you with their feet and their faith, even when the check isn't as big as the one from the lobby. Show us a leader who can lose a donor and gain a spine in the same week. Until then, we'll be watching. We'll be documenting. We will be putting the receipts on the table every single time. Because I didn't build anything in my life by complaining about my competition and calling it a strategy. And I will not accept that from the people I send to Washington. I'm just one voice. I'm Keith. But I use my voice. Keith speaks. I watch the pattern. I follow the money. I call it what it is. Sometimes it seems just like a different grift from the same party. But it's time to do better or get replaced by somebody who will.